Good evening and welcome to another update on elections 2022. Tallying continues for the presidential results, with the commission having posted the forms 34As on its portal. The verification process is ongoing as IEBC receives the physical forms, and results also at the parliamentary level have been streaming in. I'm Tess Jenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. We are also planning to join our reporter Kennedy Kimani, who is at the national tallying station, that is Bomas. But before that, former Bishop of the Christ is the Answer Ministries, CITAM, has hailed how Kenyans have continued to observe peace even as the vote tallying exercise continues. The Bishop Emeritus has commended the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, on how they have so far carried out their mandate in ensuring that the polls are credible. In an exclusive interview with Hope TV, the Bishop has called for calm even as the provisional results continue to troop in. Joseph Maingi has more.
We must begin by commending Kenyans for conducting themselves peacefully in the electoral process, especially on the polling day, while appealing to them to exercise patience as they wait for the results to be announced by the IEBC. This is a true testament to the maturity of the Kenyan people and our desire for genuine, lasting peace. We also commend the presidential candidates for committing themselves to peacefully accept the results and the loser to seek, if necessary, legal redress. Indeed, we call on the candidates to appeal for peace during the waiting period and appeal to their supporters to join them in accepting the results. We call on Kenyans to have trust in the state institutions, and more so IEBC at this point in time, as there is only one source of truth as far as elections are concerned, and that is vested in the IEBC. The IEBC will be the ones to announce the final election result to the Kenyans, the final election results. Our hope as a country rests and relies on them and their continued integrity. We thank the media for responsible coverage and call on them to remain so moving forward. We observe that all the above is an indication of the maturity of our democracy, which we should continue to deepen.
Thank you, Joseph, for that report. Now, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, has commended Kenyans for conducting themselves in a peaceful manner during the election period. The commission, through the team of eminent persons under the Kenya Eminent Peace Panel, has appealed to Kenyans to exercise patience as they wait for the release of the results by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC. The team, led by former Head of Public Service Ambassador Francis Mudhaura, who is the team's convener, has further thanked all candidates who peacefully conceded defeat and urged them to appeal for peace. The team was appointed last week to champion peace and dialogue and foster locally led solutions to any political disputes that may arise as a result of ethnic, religious, and ideological differences.
We must begin by commending Kenyans for conducting themselves peacefully in the electoral process, especially on the polling day, while appealing to them to exercise patience as they wait for the results to be announced by the IEBC. This is a true testament to the maturity of the Kenyan people and our desire for genuine, lasting peace. We also commend the presidential candidates for committing themselves to peacefully accept the results and the loser to seek, if necessary, legal redress. Indeed, we call on the candidates to appeal for peace during the waiting period and appeal to their supporters to join them in accepting the results. We call on Kenyans to have trust in the state institutions, and more so IEBC at this point in time, as there is only one source of truth as far as elections are concerned, and that is vested in the IEBC. The IEBC will be the ones to announce the final election result to the Kenyans, the final election results. Our hope as a country rests and relies on them and their continued integrity. We thank the media for responsible coverage and call on them to remain so moving forward. An indication of the maturity of our democracy, which we should continue to deepen.
We apologize for that mix-up in bites. Let's take that first story once again, where former Bishop of the Christ is the Answer Ministries, CITAM, has hailed how Kenyans have continued to observe peace even as the vote tallying exercise continues. The Bishop Emeritus has commended the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, on how they have so far carried out their mandate in ensuring that the polls are credible. In an exclusive interview with Hope TV, the Bishop has called for calm even as the provisional results continue to troop in. Here is Joseph Maingi with more.
As Kenyans continue to eagerly await the results of the general election that kicked off on Tuesday this week, Christ is the Answer Ministries CITAM former Bishop Dr. David Oginde, has hailed how Kenyans have conducted themselves during the entire process. Bishop Oginde, who is a member of the Kenya Eminent Peace Panel, has hailed how Kenyans have continued to remain calm even as the tallying process continues.
Kenyans have conducted themselves with great sense of responsibility. Many people had thought that by now there would be riots and violence and so on, but that has not been there. The voting was peaceful. The tallying process is taking place. Even though it is taking long, people are patient to wait. So I would say that generally things so far have gone very well, and we commend all the people who are involved.
At the same time, the Bishop has also weighed in on the low voter turnout, attributing it to the lack of accountability among leaders, calling on the elected leaders to live up to their promises, even as many continue to await their results.
Low turnout, it means that people are losing confidence in the impact of the vote. So there's a large group of people who believe that irrespective of whether I vote or not, things will remain the same, which is unfortunate. And that calls for us as leaders at different sectors to show that when people give us responsibility through their vote, that we do the work that we have promised that we will do.
And with various media outlets already continuing to release their own tallies, the Bishop has called on Kenyans to remain calm and wait for the penultimate results from the electoral body IEBC.
My urge is, as we go forward, let us continue to believe in the power of the vote, and let's vote. But the greater call is for those people who are going to be elected in this season. Let us do the work that the citizens have given to us.
According to Bishop Oginde, the provisional results should not be a ground of celebration yet, because the process is far from over.
So this is something we asked for. And since all these media stations are not equipped to collect the figures, tally them in the same way, so you'll find there are discrepancies. The good thing is that all the figures that they are giving us, if they're to be believed, they are getting it from the IBC website. Now the difference comes because the way they download the Form 34As may be different. The speed with which they enter the information may be different. But our hope is that at the very last, when they are all done, the figures will be the same. So I would urge all of us, this information is useful for our own consumption, but let's wait for the final result. Out of this number of votes so far tallied. So you may find some of the votes tallied are at 30%, which means there's still a long way to go. Some are at 70%, still a long way to go. So you cannot quite start celebrating from those figures because things can change as we go along. So let's use this as indicators. Let's not use them as final result. There's no celebration at this point. The real celebration or cry should come when IEBC makes its announcement.
For Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Joseph Maingi.
Much appreciated, Maingi. The Electoral Institute for Sustainable Development has issued a report detailing their observation of the country's electoral process, which includes the voting which was conducted, on the 9th of August, and counting which proceeded thereafter. EISA, head of Election Observers Mission, former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan, noted that the country has made notable strides in upholding democracy and Kenya's commitment to conduct competitive, inclusive, peaceful and transparent elections. Jonathan reported that 9 out of 10 counties observed by EISA mission were characterized by a large degree of peace and calm. Grace Wangoi has more details.
Just 2 days after elections, observers continued with their observation missions in various parts of the country. One such election observer mission is that of the Electoral Institute for Sustainable Development, EISA, headed by former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan. Issuing a report in Nairobi, Jonathan noted that although Kenya's legal framework follows regional and international standards and has an independent election body, IEBC faces significant mistrust from the citizens. EISA attributed this to the annulment of the 2017 general election. He commended the Commission's efforts to uphold democracy and its improved coordination between the Commission and other state institutions.
While the legal framework for election in Kenya provides for the independent administration of electoral processes, the IEBC faced significant trust deficit from citizens and some election stakeholders, particularly because of the annulment of the 2017 election. Of course, because of that annulment, it was a problem to both of us, the observers, and of course also the electoral management body.
On the election campaign environment, EISA reported that in 9 out of 10 counties where they observed, there was peace and calm. However, EISA pointed out that although the general environment was peaceful, there were reports of violence in some areas before and during the polling process.
Based on the assessment of the period immediately before, during the polling and counting processes, the EISA mission witnessed a generally peaceful environment, particularly during the last 2 days of campaign rallies. During the 48 hours ahead of the election day and during the opening of voting, closing, and counting of votes on election day, reports of an attack targeted at a police station allegedly attributed to bandits on polling day raised the risk of insecurity during the election. In all the incidents brought to the attention of the mission, adequate measures to contain the situations were deployed by the security agencies, which is commendable. The mission extends its heartfelt condolences to family and friends of the bereaved. A life lost in an electoral process is always one too many.
Former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan commended the country's efforts in participation of women and youth in elections and also their representation in elective positions.
The mission is also of the opinion that the constitutional provisions of the two-third gender rule is comply with the African Charter, on democracy, elections, and governance, which commits state parties to promoting gender balance and equality in the governance and development process.
The EISA Election Observation Mission sampled a total of 187 polling stations in both rural and urban areas. They were spread across 10 counties in 7 regions, including Nairobi, Uasin Gishu, Makueni, Kwale, Kiambu, Kitui, Nandi, Nakuru, Nyamira, and Kakamega. Grace Ongoi for Hope TV News Watch.
Thank you, Grace, for that report. Now, Bungoma Governor Wycliffe Wangamati has conceded defeat and congratulated his competitor Kenneth Lusaka on his election as the governor of Bungoma County, even though the final results are yet to be announced by IEBC. In his conceding message, Wangamati has said he respects the decision of the people of Bungoma and thanked every citizen of Bungoma who thought and believed in his vision for Bungoma and all those who supported his campaigns for re-election and voted for him. Wangamati was seeking re-election on a DAPK party ticket, while Lusaka has been elected on a Ford Kenya party ticket. It was all chants and celebrations in Nakuru County as the residents received final tallied results of Member of National Assembly in various constituencies in the county. Nakuru Town West had 70,251 valid voters. Samuel Arama was able to retain his seat, gathering 34,936 of the votes. Other incumbent members of parliament who took the lead were David Gikaria of UDA, Nakuru Town East, Charity Chepkwony of UDA of Njoro, and Martha Wangare of UDA in Gilgil constituencies. Kimani Ngunjiri of UDA lost, and Bahati seat to Irene Joki of Jubilee, who polled 34,308, while the incumbent got 26,809 votes. So far, none of the aspirants has come forth to challenge the results, which shows that they are satisfied with how the tallying was conducted, even as they await the presidential results. And we shall be playing you that clip shortly. But moving on, Wiper Party's Jessica Mbalu has maintained the Kibwezi East Member of Parliament seat after garnering 11,395 votes. She was closely followed by independent candidate Willie Malile with 9,169 in the hotly contested seat. The results were declared by the constituency returning officer Pamela Wandeo at Mudhingini Boys High School tallying center this afternoon. Others who contested for the seat were Kitonga Mwilu of Kibudha Kibwana's Muungano Party with 6,051, UDA's Amos Ngumbi, who garnered 5,508, and Maendeleo Chap Stephen Gelu, who got 5,139 votes. The Member of Parliament-elect, who could not hide her joy, said that it was a win for the residents of Kibwezi East, whom she has served for the last 10 years, adding it was a privilege to serve them. Well, now, as we continue with our election coverage, our reporter Kennedy Kimani is at the National Tallying Center, that is the Bomas of Kenya, where the presidential results will be announced. He now joins us live with an update. If you can hear me, Ken, what is the latest from Bomas?
Well, Tess, Paul Kongo, my camera person, and I are still pitching camp here at the Bomas of Kenya. And it is a beehive of activities here at this place as the votes are still being counted. Remember, this is the National Tallying Center for the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC. And Kenyans are so eager to get to know who is the president-elect, but the process of counting the votes has started, and Wafula Chebukati in 2 hours ago was able to announce the first results officially of the presidential elections, and the first results were from the Webuye East constituency in Bungoma County, and out of the 48,950 registered voters, 30,491 were valid votes cast, with the rejected ballots being 381. In the votes, Raila managed to get 13,720 votes, while Ruto got 16,412, with Wahiga Mauro of the Agano Party garnering 110 votes, and Wajakoya of Roots Party garnering 249 votes. So the process of tallying the votes has just begun, and Kenyans have to be patient enough to be able to get the full results when IBC Chair Wafula Chebukati announces.
We noted that there was a meeting for prayer for the nation by various religious leaders a little earlier at the Bomas of Kenya. Is that still ongoing? What is currently happening at the moment? Can you hear me, Ken? Well, as we will try to get him back, but in the meantime, let's continue with news making headlines. The former Machakos Chief of Staff, Mwengi Mutuse, has won the Kibwezi West parliamentary seat via Maendeleo Chap-Chap ticket after garnering 30,821 votes. According to Kibwezi West returning officer Evanson Gomano, who declared the results this evening at Makindo Girls, the constituency has 91,554 registered voters. James Baluka of the United Democratic Alliance, UDA, came second with 20,793 votes. Juliana Kisimbi of DP was third with 727 votes, while Ngomeli Oscar of Wiper garnered 628 votes. At the same time, Thaddeus Zambia has retained the Kilome constituency parliamentary seat after getting 16,058 on a Wiper party ticket. Now, all Kalau Member of Parliament David Kiaraho has called on all elected leaders to consider working together regardless of their political parties for the common good. Kiaraho, who retained his Member of National Assembly seat for the third time on a Jubilee Party ticket, said he was glad that the people were not choosing parties but the leaders' capabilities. He called on the people to accord all other leaders that have been elected the much-needed support and put their political differences aside. Michael Mushira of UDA also retained his Oljoro Orok constituency seat, beating his close Jubilee competitor Mungai Kiongera Jeremiah Kioni of Ndaragwa constituency, who was on Jubilee ticket, lost to George Gashagwa of UDA, with Amos Kimunya of Jubilee of Kipipiri losing to Wanjiku Muhia of UDA.
I, as the constituency returning officer, hereby declare David Jogoda Kiaraho of ID number 7879366 has been duly elected as the member of National Assembly for All Kalau constituency in the election held on the 9th day of August 2022.
Thank you very much. I think on my part, I'll start by thanking Almighty God for having brought us this far. On the same note, I would like to thank my family, starting with my wife here and my kids who are behind there. And on the same note, I would really sincerely want to thank the great people of our Kalau constituency for actually having found it fit to give me the third term. I'm serving my third term, and I think they gave me this chance, or they have given me this chance because of maybe my performance, how I performed, both in the first term and the second term. What I can ask my opponents, or those people who are contesting, in any contest, we must have a winner and we must have a loser. So I really want to ask all of them to join up with me so that we join together and steer development, the development agenda in this great constituency of Olkarau. Something very surprising, which I must say, I'm very, very proud of Olkarau populace, because as we all know, within the central region, there was this wave of the so-called UDA, but I think Olkarau constituents, they have braved that wave, and I think they are more concerned is the development, because I do believe they have actually picked up on me because of my development agenda in different sectors.
Now, revisiting the Nakuru poll results, it was all chants and celebrations in Nakuru County as the residents received final tallied results of Member of National Assembly in various constituencies in the county. Nakuru Town West, with 70,251 valid voters, Samuel Arama was able to regain his seat, gathering 34,936 of the votes. Let's take a look.
7009245 has been duly elected as the Member of National Assembly for Nakuru Town West constituency in the election held on 9th day of August 2022.
I'm just happy that the Nakuru Town West constituency people, they have given me another term. Ni kazi wamenipatia na walinipea kwa sababu mimi nafanya kazi mzuri. Huwezi kurudi mara ya tatu, not working well. So I'm just saying to them that thanks so much. I will do what I've been doing the way I've been working. I will be giving my bursaries the way I've been giving them out. I will be seeing people the way I've been seeing. So I'm just happy. First of all, I want to thank His Excellency the President and my party leader, Honorable Mugai Kenyatta, because he gave me an opportunity to fly the flag of Jubilee in the Nakuru Town West, and he has assisted me on many other things.
I also want to thank the members of Bahati constituency in general, in a whole, all of them, for the support and for coming out, even if we didn't get what we were hoping to get, but at least we got the majority of the votes. And we want to say asanteni sana, especially again for my office team, led by my able manager, who actually controlled the Mrembo and Mrembo na Kazi team. We want to say asanteni sana, 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 because they have worked tirelessly for 1.5 years. And we want to say asanteni, your efforts. I don't know how to thank them. Hata sijui niwaambia nini kwa sababu these guys have really worked.
Mwanzo ninataka kuchukua nafasi hii kumrudishia Mwenyezi Mungu shukrani sana kwa kuniwezesha kuwa mshindi kwa mara ya 3 katika Nakuru Town East. Tumekuwa tukiomba kila wakati na kuweka a lot of efforts on the ground, and I want to thank my party, the UDA party, for having given me an opportunity ya kuweza kuja kupigania hichi kiti cha Nakuru Town East kwa chama cha UDA. And I want to say to my supporters, hawakutu disappoint, tulipigiwa kura kwa wingi sana, and it was an election that was free, fair, verifiable and very transparent. Kwa sababu ukiangalia hakuna popote pale palikuwa na any incidences that would warrant for any of the faults ama chochote ambayo itawekwa kule pale ndani.
Now, Paul Ongili, also known as Babu Owino, has been declared the winner of the Embakasi East Parliamentary seat. The legislator, who ran on an ODM ticket, was successful in keeping his position after receiving 57,410 votes. His closest contender, Francis Murithi, who ran under a UDA ticket, managed to garner a total of 29,104. Meanwhile, incumbent Dagoretti South Member of Parliament John KJ, that is Carrier, has been declared the winner of the just concluded polls. He retained his seat after clinching 26,394 votes against his main opponent from Jubilee Party, Dennis Waweru, who got 22,773 votes. Rashid Juma Bedzimba of the Orange Democratic Movement is the winner in the Kisauni constituency with 34,747 votes. Barak Hamid Barak of the United Democratic Alliance came in second with 12,336. Beatrice Boze Gambo, running independently, came in third with 6,533, while Wiper Democratic Movement Kenya Liksane Ngala Ndume got 683. The 2022 general election has seen the United Democratic Alliance UDA scoop all parliamentary seats in Nyeri as seasoned politicians lost to political newbies in the county's key constituencies. In Mukurweini, Nyeri County Assembly Speaker John Kagushia defeated the incumbent Anthony Kiai, who was serving his first term as Member of Parliament. Kagushia, who was vying on a UDA ticket, garnered 25,804 votes, while Kiai managed 10,322 votes out of the 58,534 votes cast.
187. To the data that I've read, Duncan Maina Matenge as member of National Assembly elect.
I have mixed feelings. There is a feeling of great satisfaction that at last, after 15 years and the fourth attempt, the people of Nyeri have seen it fit to entrust me with their representation as a member of parliament. There's also a feeling of bittersweet joy. There's a bit of nostalgia that it has taken this long to get to this point. But I choose not to focus on what is behind, but choose to focus on the task ahead. The first task is to appeal to all Nyerians that the elections are over. We now need to rally together to better our constituency. I will be the member of parliament for every resident of Nyeri town constituency. I will serve everybody without fear or favor. And to be able to begin with a clean heart and on a clean slate. There are two young men who are in court facing attempted murder charges after attacking me during the campaigns. At the next mention of their court case, I'm going to withdraw my complaint because I would like Nyerians to start with a single-minded purpose of unity so that we can be able to get together. And just like the words of our Lord's Prayer, that we pray that forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. I want to declare today before Nyerians that I have forgiven both Mark Ngojiri and Daniel Wabogo. Mark Ngojiri, for example, has a young boy who is in Form 1 at Nyeri High School, and Mark is unemployed. And I think this ought to be a big lesson for political leaders. Please let us not use the unemployed youth to carry out the dirty jobs that we cannot use our own children to participate in.
Join our reporter Kennedy Kimani, who is currently at the Bomas of Kenya, which is the National Tallying Center. Ken, if you can hear me, has the IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati addressed Kenyans once again, or is he yet planning to do so anytime soon?
That's it.
If you can hear me, Ken. Kennedy Kimani, if you can hear me, please update us on the current situation at the Bomas of Kenya. Is the IEBC chairman, Wafula Chebukati, about to address the country, or what is happening at the moment?
Well, Tess, we are still pitching camp here at the Bomas of Kenya with my able camera person, Paul Kungu, just to bring our viewers up to speed with what's happening here at the Bomas. Remember, Bomas is the national tallying center of the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission, and it is a beehive of activities. Well, many Kenyans are expecting the IBC chair of Chebukati to announce the president-elect, while they have to be patient a bit because the journey is yet to be over. However, we'll be here until the fat lady sings. However, today, Wafula Chebukati was able to announce the first presidential results officially from Webuye East constituency in Bungoma County. And out of the 48,950 registered voters, 30,491 were the valid votes cast, with rejected ballots being at 384. Raila Odinga was able to manage to get 13,720 votes, while Ruto got 16,412, with Wahiga Mwauri of the Agano Party getting 110 votes, and Wajakoya of Roots Party getting 249 votes. So the journey has just begun, and 289 constituencies remain to be counted, plus adding the ones for the diaspora and the prisons. That brings it to 291 votes. So it's still a long way to go, but we'll be here camping all day, all night, just to bring you up to speed with what's happening here at the Bomas of Kenya.
Maybe just to follow up on an earlier question, there was a session of prayer where religious leaders led prayers. Is that still ongoing, or what is currently happening at the Bomas right now? Let me just come again. There was a session of prayer earlier by religious leaders, and I just wanted to find out, is that still ongoing, or has the IEBC chair, Wafula Chebukati, indicated when the presidential election results an update, when he will give another update on that regard? It seems we are experiencing a technical hitch in our sound. So on that note, please allow us to conclude our election brief on Newswatch tonight. Thank you for watching. I beg your pardon. We shall have more news in our successive bulletins. I'm Tess Jenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Have a good night.